This is find all zeros, real and none, of the function. Enter the zeros, the exact values, separated by commas. Sorry, I have an allergy cough that I'm going through. But so you can't just find one by looking at it or by manipulating it algebraically. We're going to have to graph it to see if we can determine one of the zeros from the graph on the calculator. So this is going to be 9x to the 4th. I'm just going to graph the whole thing. Minus 21x cubed minus 51x squared minus 33x minus 12. Whoops. I knew I was going to do that. Minus 51x. Nope, 33. Let's get this right. (51x squared) minus 33 x minus 12. Well, that was supposed to be the easy part, but I made that look pretty hard. 51x squared, 21x cubed. Yep, okay. So we're good there. I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to graph a standard window, zoom 6, to see if I can find any intercepts by looking at the graph. So I made it darker to try and see if I can determine one. We can kind of cheat and use the calculator to find one of them. So I'm going to hit second trace to find the calculate menu. I'm going to go to 0. Let's see if this left one gives us a nice pretty 0. So I'm going to put the left bound to the left of this 0, hit enter, then move it to the right, hit enter, guess enter. So it looks like I have a 0 at x equals -1. Perfect. So what I can do is factor out, since I know x equals -1 is a 0, then that means that x plus 1 is a factor. So I can divide this thing by x plus 1 and determine what's left, and then either repeat the process or hopefully see another factor that I can factor out. So I'm actually going to use synthetic division. So I'm going to plug the 0 in here. This is -1. I'm going to draw my synthetic division box and then write the coefficients: 9, -21, -51, -33, and -12. So since this is a 0, when I'm done this, I should get a remainder of 0. So I bring the 9 down, multiply by -1, I get -9. Adding down, I get -30. Multiply by -1, I get +30. Adding down, I get -21. Multiply by -1, I get +21. Adding down, I get -12. Multiplying by -1, I get +12. So this is my remainder. This is a constant. This is x. This is x squared. And this is x cubed. So it looks like I can write this function as x plus 1 times the quantity 9x cubed minus 30x squared minus 21x minus 12. So I can either repeat that process with just this red part, or if I look at the calculator, I have another 0 here that I can factor out. Second, calculate 0. Let's go over, try and find that 0. It looks like it's between, what is that, 4 and 5? Let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can't see my cursor, but I'm just going to pretend 3.6 is probably good enough. And then my right bound is going to be, we'll make it about 5 just to be safe. And it looks like I have another 0 at 4. So if I want to, I can factor out the factor x minus 4 from this thing and see what's left. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that in blue. Perform synthetic division again. Put the 0 out in front. And I have the coefficients of 9, -30, -21, -12. I'm just using this. Don't use the original because that won't really get you anywhere you need to go. I'm going to use the remainder after I factored out an x plus 1. from the first 0. Bring the 9 down, multiply by 4, add down, multiply by 4, add down, multiply by 4, add down. Again, we get 0, which means this is a factor. This is my constant, my x, and my x squared. So now I can write the function again as the original function as x plus 1 times x minus 4 times 9x squared plus 6x plus 3. So I know one of my zeros is going to be -1. One of my zeros is going to be +4. And it wants real and non-real zeros. So I have to find the zeros of this thing. But since they didn't show up on my graph, I can assume safely that they're probably non-real. So to find these zeros, I probably have to perform the quadratic formula. Figure out what this thing, when this thing equals 0 for x. So we get, excuse me, x equals -b, -6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times 9 times 3 all over 2 times 9, which is 18. So this is -6 plus or minus the square root of 36 minus, what is that, 108? Oops, get out of here. 4 times 3 times 9. We have 36 minus, I believe it's minus. Yep. 108. 72. -72. There's the negative square root, so it's going to be non-real. And moving right along, we get x equals -6 plus or minus square root of 72. Well, the negative is going to come out and be I. But the square root of 72, I can write 72 as 36 times 2. Square root of 36 is 6. So this is 6i root 2 over 18. And very last, they all have a 6 in common. So we're left with -1 plus or minus I root 2 over 3. So you're going to have to be careful when you enter this in. This is going to be -1 plus I root 2 over 3 and -1 minus I root 2 over 3. Quite a problem, but completely doable. Just have to factor out each factor one at a time. First from the original, and then the second time from the remainder after you factored out the first.